The shape in front of you is a right circular cone. The right circular cone is created by revolving a right triangle around an axis. Okay, and let me revolve around this so you can see the full solid. Okay. Now in this case, we had a right triangle that was revolved around this y-axis, and let me go ahead and turn that on. Let me also change my visual style here where we can see inside the cone. Okay, and let me turn on the sketch that was used to create the cone. Okay, now you can see one of the lines is measured 5. Okay, and the triangle that I'm referring to is in red, and the triangle was actually revolved around the y-axis that I turned on just a moment ago. Okay, so it was revolved around this axis, and the solid was created that way. So that's how you create a right circular cone. Let me go back to my original visual style. Okay, so that's how the cone was created. Now, if you actually cut the cone along various planes, you create geometric curves that you're no doubt familiar with. The first and the most common is the circle. Okay, again, let me actually just leave that axis on. Okay, so if I were to cut the right circular cone along a plane that is perpendicular to this axis, I would create a circle. Okay, so let me do that right now. I will actually cut this object along this plane. Okay, and when I do, you can see that I have created a perfect circle, as you can see in red here. Okay, and again, the plane that was used to create the circle was created perpendicular to this axis. Okay, now another shape you're familiar with is an ellipse. Okay, and an ellipse is created by cutting along a plane similar to this. Now this particular plane is at an angle to the y-axis, and the plane passes through both angled faces of the cone. Okay, and it doesn't matter exactly where the plane passes through as long as it passes through both angles. In other words, the angle of the plane could change as long as it passes through both angled faces of the cone, and your ellipse shape, of course, will change, but you will have an ellipse if you do that. Now let's cut this object along that plane, and we'll have a look. Okay, so this shape is an ellipse. Okay, and you can see it. The shape I'm talking about is in dark red. Okay, another shape that you're familiar with is the hyperbola. Okay, this is probably a little less common, used in math classes, but it does have some practical applications in the real world. But as let me turn on that plane. Now this shape is created by cutting along this plane that you see here. Now you can tell that this plane is actually parallel to the y-axis that was used to create the right circular cone. Okay, and so to create the hyperbola, we'll do that right now. Okay, and let me just take a look at it, and you can see in red here, that is your hyperbola. Okay, and finally we have a parabola. Okay, and parabola is something that's commonly taught in algebra when you start off graphing. It comes with the form y equals x squared. And let me turn on that plane right now, and you can see that to create a parabola using a right circular cone, the plane is actually parallel to the angled face of the right circular cone. Okay, and let's cut this now. Okay, we'll have a look at that. And again, the line that you see there in red, or the curve that you see there in red, is the parabola. Okay, and that's how you can create those different shapes. That's the geometry behind these different shapes. And that concludes this video.